Right guys, we're cracking straight into the next video, and a couple of you guys have already spotted this in the background. I think you'll have seen one of these in the channel before, and I think this might be going on the Banger Rally, but it's a bit of a stinky job and I'm not looking forward to it.
Check. The grills in my mouth double as a freeze. The grills in my mouth double as a freeze.
That's right guys, it's another Audi A4 B6, but unfortunately this one isn't ours. I think this one's actually one of the cars that's going on the Veterans Rally, but this one has got a bit of a major issue. It's throwing power steering fluid everywhere. We've already had a quick look at it and we've diagnosed it as what looks like the rack, but without actually getting into it and stripping stuff, it's hard to tell, but it looks like it's squirting straight out the end of the steering rack. We've got the new steering rack here. I've had a look at the book time, and the book time said it's 8 hours to change this steering rack, so it looks like it could be a bit of a stinky, complicated job, but it's never too big a job for us boys. We'll get stuck into it and we'll get this done. So yeah, let's get this reversed in and we'll tell you a little bit about the car. This one guys is a very similar spec to mine, but this is a 1.6 petrol and it's got a green interior. It's pretty clean. It's only got 84,500 miles on it, but you can hear the power steering. It's actually pretty empty at the moment. We topped it up to move it about the car park, but yeah, same.
Up to the garage floor.
Yeah, there was some in the garage floor this morning. Same spec seats, same stereo, same everything. It's pretty much identical to ours, but it's not got the Vector kit, and this is a petrol, no a diesel. So let's get it backed in, get it jacked up, get the wheels off and have a look at why this is going to take 8 hours to do. Yeah, on the outside the car's much the same as ours. It's just not got the Vector kit. Charlie's just getting it jacked up now so we can get the front wheels off. It's had some replacement wings already. As you know, these suffer with the wings. We'll need to get another one for ours soon, Charlie. So one of the biggest problems on any Audi A4 B6 is in here. What Audi have done, have made this awesome multi-link suspension setup, which is brilliant. But see all these pinch bolts here? This is what causes the problem. See, these are all aluminium and these are steel, and they end up having this chemical reaction and they just get seized solid inside the aluminium. So it might take us 8 hours just to get the pinch bolts out of the track rod ends. Never mind get the whole rack out. But first things first, I need to loosen all of this off. I've soaked it in WD-40, wire brushed it. First thing, we're going to try and get these pinch bolts out. We'll take the battery out because there's a couple of bolts up here you need to access. There's some plastic trim, some boring stuff. So we'll crack on and get all of that done. Enjoy the music. I'll whip this off and then we'll cut back in when I'm closer to showing you how to actually get the rack out.
There we go guys, we've got the steering rack out. That took a good couple of hours.
That was ages. What you guys watched on time lapse was...
No, the phone actually died. Like
yeah.
the first hour in. And it's definitely been a few more hours after that. But the steering rack's out.
It's not the easiest one to get out.
Where was it that you said was
So, in behind here, probably see it better. There. Oh, see that hole there? So the seal inside here's gone. So when the steering rack's moving back and forward, it was just filling these boots with oil. It's actually gone on both sides. So the hardest bit was getting it out. Well, obviously getting these pinch bolts out for these. I had heat on them, had to hit them gently with a hammer several times. But we got them moving. Then the next battle was obviously trying to get into all of these, but that wasn't too bad because you've got wee skinny arms, so you managed that.
it's easy for you to say. It was,
yeah.
wasn't too easy. Easy would be out in 10 minutes.
Yeah. The bit inside the car is a dowel. Take the bottom tray off and you can access that behind the pedals, no problem. The hardest bit was sleeving it out that side, because this here, this bit, the steering knuckle bit's chunky.
And it was getting caught in that tiny gap, wasn't it?
Yeah, gets caught in here. So we've ended up having to unbolt the strut mount, lever it down and move it across and just force it out. So yeah,
We got there. And it's time to get the new one in.
well, first things first, we need to swap over these. You need to swap over the track rod ends.
Would it not be easier if we got it in first?
No, tear these out. You've got plenty of space here. So give these a wire brush, we'll give these a clean up. What we'll do, the same way I always do these guys, loosen the lock nut, get the track rod end moving, and then count how many turns you take it out. Leave the lock nut in as close to the same place as you can, and then hopefully when you put it all back together, it's as close to still being tracked as possible. Yeah, very rarely do I have to take them for tracking if you do this bit properly, but just take a bit of care, loosen the lock nut, put it back where it was, wind this out, count the turns, count them back in, lock it back up again and as close to the same place as possible, and you'll be fine. Right guys, we've just had a bit of a spanner thrown into the works there. Unfortunately, these, ow, I've just nailed them, sound really jaggy. Right. Unfortunately, these track rod ends are not budging. As you can see, I've had heat on it, I've burnt the boot to bits, I've wire brushed it, WD-40'd it. It's starting to twist the rubber in the dampener now. So, unfortunately, that means we're going to need to get 2 new track rod ends, which they haven't got in stock at the moment. And it's currently 3 o'clock on the Friday, so it might even be Monday morning before these track rod ends come in. Meaning, we can't even finish this video for Sunday. So it looks like this is going to be a Monday upload.
Guys, your schedule's changed to a Thursday and a Monday now.
It's not supposed to be, it just seems to be how it's going at the moment.
It just seems to be how it's went. But
So,
wait, the views have went up, so
yeah.
people must prefer it.
Well, if you guys like a Thursday and a Monday, let us know and we'll keep it at that. But I mean, I like the Wednesday and the Sunday, but yeah, I was so annoyed. I hate it when you get a job pulled apart and everything's going not too bad, and then that happens. You end up needing parts or something breaks.
As much as it was taking a while, for the job we're doing, we were doing it at quite a good pace.
It wasn't too bad. We actually watched another YouTube video of another guy trying to do one of these, and he was at it for a week, eh?
Yeah.
He was at it for a week just trying to get the pinch bolts and everything out, so I thought we were making fairly decent progress, to be honest. Yeah. Oh well. Listen, these things happen in the motor trade. It's unfortunate, but it happens. So,
Especially when it's an older car.
yeah, and we've also blocked up the workshop with it now because it's all stripped. So, anyway, I think that'll do for the now. We'll give the Merc a wee wash before we go, maybe, and we'll call it a day at that. And we'll be back in a minute. Well, about a few seconds for you. There'll be new track rod ends being fitted, and we'll get the rack back in, and we'll get this car back to the customer. See you in a minute. Right guys, it's Monday morning, we're back. We've got some new track rod ends. It's time to get this rack put back together and get it thrown back on the Audi. So first things first.
Why did you put it like that?
What I'm going to do is we're going to take some measurements off of the old rack and try and get these track rod ends on the new one as close as possible. And then when it's on the car, we'll maybe try and do a bit of a string alignment just to try and get this spot on. Well, we're probably never going to get it spot on, but we'll get it as close as possible to the way the old rack was, and hopefully it'll drive straight. If worst comes to the worst, we'll run it up for some wheel alignment up at Cross Garage. We'll get David to do a wheel alignment on it. So let's crack on, get that done, and wrestle this rack back into place, eh Charlie?
There we go, we've got the steering rack in. Messy job, eh, Dad?
It's, I can see why the dealer wants 9 hours for it now.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah, it's not actually that bad, it's just mere fiddly than anything else.
It's not terrible. It was a pain trying to get the 8mm bolts back in, but we got there in the end. The battery's put back together. I've put everything in the engine bay back together.
That side's all back together.
Yeah, the difficult side's all back together. It's just this side now, and then that, it'll be wheels on, right?
Just putting this trim back on.
Um,
That holds the wire for the ABS sensor.
Easy job.
Put the track rod end back on.
And we can get it out the workshop and get something else in.
Obviously we need to clean these up, mega. See where these pinch bolts go through. I'll give these a good clean and a grease up before we put the new track rod end in it. And then hopefully the next person, if this ever needs anything done on it again, they'll be able to get them off without worrying about breaking them. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. We have to undo the strut on that side. If you're ever doing one, if you undo the 3 bolts at the top, put a big lever bar in and move the strut tower across a bit, it gives you that wee bit extra space to get the rack through. It makes it a lot easier. So yeah, connect this back up and then we just need to connect it inside the car. And this one's almost done. Right, wee 2-minute interruption. As you guys know, we're doing the Veterans Rally to Gibraltar. We're supporting the rally, we're the mechanical support for the 32 plus teams going on this. So we want your help to raise as much money as we possibly can to help out the veterans, give as much to the Blind Veterans UK as we can, and also raise some money for cancer research in the process. So remember guys, we've still got the SEALEY tools up for grabs. There's a 1/2 inch set, a 1/4 drive set. There's still loads of tickets available for that. I think we've sold over 150 tickets so far, which is amazing. Guys, the links are below for Blind Veterans UK and for cancer research. It's a minimum £5 donation on the GoFundMes. If you don't want to do that, stick a £1 ticket on one of the SEALEY tools, because all the proceeds for that go to the charity as well. Last job on the Audi. Charlie's just sweeping up some of the crud before he goes under and puts the under tray on. But we're going to put a new auxiliary belt on it, because if you look at this one, look, it's knackered. It's obviously had a new tensioner put on at some point.
But they've put the old belt
Yeah,
back
they've
on.
put the old crusty belt. Why would you put a tensioner on and not a belt? So for this, you'll need one of these long spanners. I specially bought this just for them these, because you can slot it right on the tensioner, and that way it's up here. Look how easy that is. Normally a normal spanner's down behind the grille. So there we go, off the alternator. There we go, the auxiliary belt's on. This car is nearly finished. Just need to top up the fluids. No funnel gag. Watch me. Oh, oh.
Jesus, man. What was that? How many years in the funnel gang and you still miss like that?
Need to practice.
Amateur.
Need to practice.
You do services every day.
Let's fire this bad boy up and bleed the power steering fluid. This will be quite noisy. So basically, fill up your fluid, start it up, slowly turn the steering left to right. I'm doing it while it's still in the jack, so there's no pressure on the system. That'll bleed the air out of the new rack, get the fluid flowing through it, and then we can check for leaks, get it down on the ground, do a final bleed, final top up, take it a road test, and hopefully we can call this one done. Right guys, we're out road testing the Audi, and so far so good. Everything's okay. I can let go of the steering wheel, it drives perfectly straight, it feels good, there's no more noises. The only problem is the steering wheel sitting slightly out, so obviously with changing a full rack and track rod ends, it is going to need the wheel alignment. Look, that's straight, that's me let go of the steering wheel. Car's driving straight, but the steering wheel's a bit off to the left. Right guys, what I have noticed, with the steering wheel being so far out, it's thrown the traction control nuts every now and again, because the steering angle sensor's obviously out compared to where everything else is going. So I've just phoned Cross Garage, there it goes again. It's going nuts and braking for me because it thinks we're sliding or something. So yeah, I've just been off the phone to Cross Garage, spoke to Big Rod. They've got space to squeeze me in today, so we're going to go quickly do a waiting job. We've got another customer here that you're going to see another video on, and it's quite a common fault on an MX-5, and hopefully we'll fix it. So we'll go and get that done, then we'll run this up to Cross Garage, get the wheel alignment done, and then hopefully that'll be it sorted. Other than setting the clock to the right time because we had the battery disconnected, that's pretty much it for this car. Was it 8 hours? Probably. I would say if we had a ramp, we'd probably have done that a wee bit quicker, eh Charlie?
Yeah, with a ramp, we're on the floor, there's no room to move.
Yeah, and now that we've done one, we know where everything is and how the bolts come out. There is a couple of bolts that are tucked under the brake servo and stuff, but if you've got the right tools, you can get into them without having to take the servo off. Maybe they charge the full 8 hours for taking the servo off, I don't know. We managed it without it, but the pipes are quite difficult to get to with the heat shield on this side, and of course the track rod ends are probably seized, so if you're doing one of these, get yourself some track rod ends as well before you start. But other than that, you could do this job at home. It's a DIY job on some axle stands. Right guys, there we go, another happy subscriber. The Audi A4's all finished. It was a fraction of the cost of what the dealer was going to charge, and he's got just as good a job. So if any of you guys are thinking about tackling at home, don't be scared, you can save yourself a fortune. It isn't that bad a job, it's more fiddly than anything else. The rack is a bit on the spicy side, so reconditioned racks are expensive for them, and there's a £100 surcharge on them as well, so make sure you save your old rack and return it. But yeah, definitely a job you guys can do at home. Right, that's it for the end of this video guys. Make sure you hit the like button, share it with your friends, drop some comments, make sure you've hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.